Hey guys, Matt here. Now, when I made my last Smallville video on how I would end the series, in Season 10 specifically, I wasn't sure if I was going to make another Smallville video, but I figured there's not many episodes left, so why not? So, here I am. So, the last episode was entitled Booster. Here we got to see a glimpse of the hero from the future for the first time on TV, Booster Gold. Now, this episode was really neat. The way it started out was you had Lois and Clark talking about how Clark needed to degrade himself, needed to make it so when the Blur finally decided to show his face to the public that he didn't resemble Clark Kent, because Lois didn't want people saying, okay, here's the Blur, here's Clark Kent. They're the same person. So, Lois brought back the idea of Clark slouching his shoulders, wearing a trench coat, and wearing the goofy glasses. Clark at first is reluctant to the idea, but then he decides to go along with it. And let me just say, the part when he does decide to become Clark Kent that we all know and love, best part of the episode in my opinion. So, Booster was written by Jeff Johns, who's a great Green Lantern writer. He writes for Flash, Superman. He also wrote a previous episode called Legion back in Season 8 with the Legion members. And it was also directed by Tom Welling, which is cool because I like when shows are confident enough in their main stars that they allow them to direct. You know, you had briefly Steve Buscemi directing in Sopranos, you had Alan Alda directing a couple episodes in MASH, and now Tom Welling. So, when Clark is on his way to leave the little conversation him and Lois are having, he hears a vehicle that's speeding down the street, and he thinks it's going to be an accident. So, just when he goes to save this vehicle from striking this teenage boy, somebody beats into it. And Clark doesn't know who beats him to it until he sees his picture on posters and banners and all over TV. Turns out, Booster Gold. Booster Gold, as he's from the future, knows when incidents are going to happen, so he decides to step in and save the day. The only problem is Clark sees Booster Gold as not a hero because he likes to save people, but only a hero for the fame and fortune. And so, this vehicle that is stopped for Booster Gold, it was carrying an artifact, a special weapon-type device that was, you know, handcuffed to one of the men in the back. It was in a briefcase, and it was in this blue tube. And so, whatever was in the blue tube is no longer in there. It's no longer safe. And we see young Jaime Reyes, who's the boy that fell into the street and almost got hit. And we see his backpack, and we see this blue beetle crawling into it. And then just when I think this episode can't get any better, we see Ted Kord on TV, who in Smallville is apparently like the Tony Stark of the weapons industry, where he does almost top secret type of things, but he doesn't really disclose all of his information to the public. And the weapon and the device that was in the vehicle that is now lost was his. And so Clark finds out about this, and he decides to go investigate and be the reporter that he is known to become. And when he's talking with Ted Kord, the way he acts, the way he, slouches and is silly and is uncoordinated and mixes up his words and is totally a nervous wreck in front of this man, it was awesome. It was good. It was great. I mean, when I first thought of Clark Kent becoming Clark Kent from the movies and whatnot, I thought Tom Welling won't be able to pull it off because he's too big, he's too serious, he's not going to be able to be silly. But I was wrong, and I'm glad I was. So Clark investigates, and he overhears Ted Kord talking with one of his scientists about the artifact that's missing. And then Clark retrieves something from the desk that, shines some light on what's missing. And so while this is going on, Booster Gold is, basking in the glory that is his superheroism. And the reason Booster Gold came to this time and place is because originally the Blur was supposed to be given the key to the city. So Booster Gold decides, well, I'm going to go back in time and I'm going to get the key to the city, because whoever gets the key to the city will reach superstardom. Basically, I'm going to take Superman's place in history. Well, when he decides to do this, he's confronted by Clark. And he also figures the best way to become like Superman is not only to get the key to the city, but also to get with Lois Lane. And he tries to hit on her, he tries to have arrange a date with her. Doesn't work in his favor. So Clark confronts Booster Gold eventually about the way he is a hero. And it's really neat because Clark says that it's not the suit that you're wearing. It's what's underneath. It's the person you are underneath. That's what makes you a hero, not your disguise and not your costume. So Booster Gold kind of, just smirks it off, isn't serious about it. And then we see Jaime Reyes. He was infected with the beetle that caused him to wear this Iron Man / Power Ranger type suit that is called, I believe it's called the Infiltrator, where basically it has like a mind of its own, and it destroys and takes out everything that it deems bad or evil. So he can't control the suit. He fights with Booster Gold for a brief moment, and everyone's looking to Booster Gold to be the hero, when Clark eventually ends up coming in, saving the day, and Booster becomes humbled and basically says, no, I wasn't the hero today. You were. And pretty much Jaime Reyes in the suit with no control over it whatsoever. The suit ends up destroying the whole ceremony that's been set for Booster, and just when he's about to attack Cat Grant, who's there in support of Booster, because Lois won't be, he's about to get Cat with a blast. And just in the nick of time, when she thinks Booster's going to save her, Clark actually does, as the Blur. And so the beetle overwhelms everybody and ends up grabbing Booster Gold by the throat. And just when he's about to finish him off, the suit's face portion opens up, and it's Jaime inside the suit saying, I can't control it, I can't control it. And Booster ends up talking him down, saying, you can control it, you can, because it's not the suit, it's who you are underneath. Just like what Clark said to him earlier, and this really, strikes Jaime and gives him motivation to overcome the suit and cause it to downgrade itself and go away for the time being. And so Booster thanks Clark and basically learns what it means to be a hero. And so the episode ended on a happy note. And if you haven't seen the preview for the next episode, I think it's going to be called Gladiator or Combat, something of that nature. And I'm really looking forward to it because we get to see a character brought back in Season 10 that I thought might have maybe been too soon to bring back as a guest star. We get to see, once again, Callum Blue portray Zod. And at this point in time, he has facial hair, so I believe he will be called General Zod. Now, I'm really excited about this because, one, it shows us what Zod was doing while in the Phantom Zone. And Zod is just probably my favorite Superman villain. So I'm really looking forward to it. Now, the episode Booster and this next episode, they are filler, so I have to stress that after these episodes, whatever the writers hope to accomplish with this next episode, after that, they really have to, get the ball rolling and really get serious about ending Smallville with, something to be remembered by. Not just talking about bringing back Lex, but they need to show us Darkseid. They need to show us Darkseid. They need to show us Darkseid. Because we wanted to see it. At this point, I'm ready to see Darkseid just as much as I'm ready to see Clark in the suit and flying. So, there are my thoughts there. I'm sorry if this review was a little too long for you guys. Let me know what you guys think. And finale's getting ever closer. See ya.